Imagine, you've been walking for 3 days. Your stomach is completely empty. The last animal you saw escaped. The rivers have frozen, and every berry or fruit nearby has already been eaten. No supermarkets, no farms, no refrigerators. Just hunger. 20,000 years ago, this wasn't a nightmare. It was everyday life. So how did ancient humans survive when there was absolutely nothing left to eat? The answer is far stranger than most people think. They didn't just hunt animals. They dug up hidden roots, cracked open bones for the nutritious marrow inside, ate insects, and in desperate situations they even turned to trees for food. Some of these survival methods sound unbelievable today, but without them, humans might never have survived the Ice Age. So what exactly did our ancestors eat when food disappeared? Let's find out. Food wasn't always running across the landscape. Sometimes, it was hidden beneath their feet. When hunting failed, ancient humans turned to the forests. They searched for wild roots buried deep in the ground. These roots weren't tasty, but they were packed with carbohydrates that gave the body much-needed energy. They also gathered wild berries, nuts, edible leaves, and mushrooms. But there was one huge problem. Not every plant was safe to eat. Some looked harmless, yet a single bite could be deadly. Without books or science, ancient humans learned through generations of trial and error. Parents taught their children which plants could save their lives and which ones could end them, over thousands of years. This knowledge became one of humanity's greatest survival tools, because in a world where food was never guaranteed, knowing the right plant could mean the difference between life and death. But what happened? When even roots and berries became impossible to find, ancient humans had one more survival option, one that most people today would never even consider. Insects, grasshoppers, beetles, ants, termites, and even large protein-rich larvae. To us, they might seem disgusting, but to a starving human, they were a lifesaver. Unlike large animals, insects were easier to find. They could be collected from under rocks, inside fallen logs, or hidden beneath loose soil. And despite their tiny size, they were packed with protein, healthy fats, and essential nutrients. In fact, even today, more than 2 billion people around the world regularly eat insects as part of their traditional diet. For ancient humans, insects weren't a last resort. They were simply another source of food, one that often meant the difference between surviving another day or starving to death. But insects weren't the only hidden source of nutrition. After a successful hunt, ancient humans didn't just eat the meat, they used almost every part of the animal. One of the most valuable parts was hidden inside the bones, bone marrow. Using heavy stones, they cracked open large animal bones. To reach the soft marrow inside, it may not look appetizing today, but bone marrow is incredibly rich in fat, calories, and essential nutrients. During long winters or periods of starvation, that extra energy could mean the difference between life and death. Nothing was wasted. Every hunt had to provide as much food as possible, because nobody knew when the next successful hunt would come. Sometimes there were no animals, no berries, no roots, not even insects. When survival became desperate, ancient humans turned to something unexpected. Trees, not the hard outer bark, but the soft inner layer hidden beneath it. This layer, called the inner bark, could be peeled away, dried, ground into a coarse flour, or boiled into a simple meal. It wasn't delicious, and it certainly wasn't a complete meal, but during famine, it helped keep people alive long enough to find real food again. Nature offered food in places most people today would never think to look. Looking back, ancient humans survived because they refused to give up. When hunting failed, they searched for roots. When plants disappeared, they turned to insects. When even that wasn't enough, they cracked open bones and even ate parts of trees. They didn't survive because the world was easy. They survived because they adapted. Every meal they found was another chance to see tomorrow, and perhaps that's the greatest survival lesson our ancestors ever taught us. The greatest tool humans ever had wasn't strength. It wasn't speed. It was the ability to adapt. If you enjoyed learning how our ancestors survived against impossible odds, don't forget to subscribe, because in the next episode, we'll uncover another unbelievable survival secret from the ancient world.